Hey everybody, so I am out at the farm, as it were, where internet and Pokemon Go do not exist, and I'm about to start the tiny car build using a kid's ATV as a power plant. This is actually my assistant pulling up here. Obviously she's having a good time, so we'll see what happens. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm cutting down the axle, and a shop tip that you can use is you can use these hose clamps that you would normally use for clamping hose onto a fitting on a car or motorcycle or whatever, and you use it as a guide. That way it gives you a straight cut. And this is a 1/2 inch diameter axle, which I used a 1-inch clamp because I wasn't 100% sure of the diameter, but if you just slip that on, and you can use the edge of this as a guide, and all in all it'll give you a clean cut. There's a small little burr here, but that's not a huge deal. I can work with that. So we have our axle, and then we're going to take this to the chop saw over there, cut it on this line right here, try to weld that baby back on there. So that worked out well too. And I'm not one to get attached to stuff, but we were riding this four-wheeler around earlier, and given this little rinky-dink thing was fun to ride, so at some point in this project I do kind of regret cutting it down, but that's why committing to whatever you're doing, you just got to follow through, else you'll run into problems. So we're going to take both of these pieces, and then now we're going to cut them, and I know they don't look even. The reason why I had to have 1 inch less on this one is because the brake disc caliper is on this side of the ATV. It gave me more room to do an extra inch. So okay, so now we're at the chop saw. We have one of the axles lined up underneath the chop saw. It's important to wear your safety glasses as well as the ears. What's nice about these things, it has a guard right here that's going to keep pretty much all the sparks from going in your face, but it's still important to have glasses. I would highly recommend the ear protection though, because this thing can get pretty friggin' loud. So we're going to just try to do a slow cut. That way it's hopefully going to be nice and clean, and it'll save me a little bit of trouble and work when I go to weld this thing back on. Let the saw slow down, that way we can bring it up. And of course, since this piece was just going to cut, we're not going to touch that because it's going to be very hot. I'm just going to loosen this deal, pull that back out, let this cool off, and get our new piece lined up. Okay, piece number 2, here we go. There we go. One thing I didn't really expect, and it's actually a good thing, but on these Chinese ATVs, I was a little concerned on what kind of metal they would use. It seems like the axles are pretty decent metal. You should still be careful when handling this stuff. It is a little bit warm, but when I put these axles together, it is, for the most part, pretty straight. It may require just a little bit of cleanup, but we'll use these grinding discs over here in a second, and then we'll worry about that once we get that far. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. 2 chopped down axles.